あ、どうも。小梅。聞こえてるか？もうちょいでかくしよう。あでかすぎごめん。久しぶりのお昼配信でございますけれども、皆さんいかがお過ごしでしょうか？日曜日のね、真っ昼間、もうほぼ夕方付近だけどね。いや、来てくださってありがとうございます。福岡さん、テキルガとう。ニルさん、テキルガと。じゃがりさん、テキルガと。いらっしゃい、こんうわえ。エンジェルさん、いらっしゃい、グッナイ寝た。こんばんはやね、そっちから。グッナイ寝てはないか。いらっしゃい、ウェルカム。ごめん、くやくやさん、こんです。いらっしゃい。レイヤさん、ごめん、いらっしゃい。どうも。今日はですね、以前からやってほしいという要望がありました。こちらの、あの、こちらの、なんだ。なんて読むのこれ、英語わかんないよ。ザ・スタンリー・パラボル、パラブル、ウルトラ・デラックスですね。こちらのこちらの。おメンバーにき2年すごい。バッチ変わってるよ。素晴らしい。ナイス、メジラン。スーパーやね、マジで。ありがとう。2年間支えてくれてありがとう。もう2年間どころの騒ぎじゃないけどね。マジでありがとう。こちらのね、ウルトラデラックスやっていきたいと思うんですけど、これなんか、噂によると、指示中がいて、ナレーターのね、指示中がいて、それに従うどうのの話をね、やるらしいので、エンドがね、分かれてるらしいから、ちょっと指示に従うエンド、従わないエンド、時間があればやりたいなと思います。で、今設定中なんだけど、なんか設定が長くて、音量を設定まだできてないから、もうちょっと待ってね。よいしょ。時間とかね、設定しなきゃいけなくて、ちょっとでかいか。この辺はまあいいか。こうで。こんくらいでどうだろう。あ、ガチャ。ガチャガチャもこんな感じ。ナレーターはちゃんと聞こえた方がいいよな。おお。こんくらい。こんくらいか。よし、これでいきましょう。いいか。インタラクトってなんだインタラクトってなんだ。まあいいや。視野角。視野角とかあんのカメラ感度。まあそっか。ちゃんと。まあいいか、この辺は。じゃあね、早速。すげえなんか、ちょっとまずいか、これ。無限になってるぞ。合わせ鏡みたいになってまずいまずい。恐怖を感じている。待ってよ。一定が。よいしょ。よし、オッケー。音量オッケーかな。じゃあ早速やっていきたいと思います。まずは、じゃない。まずは
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
英語やんけ。
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
427。
Employee number
うちのこと
427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed
多分おかしくなって、キーボードを押すだけの仕
Orders
事。
came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of
何ヶ月も何年もこの作業を日々繰り返していました。魂が引き抜かれるような、そりゃそう。楽しんでたな。ね、427って呼ばれてんだよ。
Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget.
スタンリーなら1時間近くデスクに向かって行ったの。モニターから一つの指示が来ていないことに気づきました。彼に指示を出す人は会議を開く人も挨拶する誰もいない。マジ。
Never in all his years at the company had
安
this
全な
happened.
孤独。
This complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time.
あ、響
But
さ
as
ん
he
いらっ
came
し
to
ゃ
his
い。
wits and regained his
響
senses,
さんだ
he
った。
got
あ、
up
待っ
from
て、
his
感度
desk
高い。ちょっと待って。一旦そう。感度高い。気づかなかった、響さんだと。いらっしゃいやね。
and stepped out of his
こん
office.
くらいなら酔わないみんな。ね、人の操作で、あ、これだとなんかキモいな。3ぐらいか。いやだ。これだとでかいか。こんくらいだね。オッケーオッケー。私はスタンリー427。今から何をすればいいのかわかりません。誰か指示をください。何時今？3時。あ？嘘、5時。あ？ 50何分か。やべ、時計が読めないことがバレた今。時計が読めないことがバレた。指示をください。誰か。私はこのキーボードを打つために生きてきたんです。この部屋からも出るの怖いんだろうな、スタンリーは。427。私の番号427。こんにちは。お、びっくりした。全員いなくなってしまったんです。どういうことなる？スタンリーは会議室に向かうことにしました。会議室ってどこだよ
？No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
あ、これでもう指示が始まっ、指示というかナレーターのあれで始まってんのか。
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
はは。なんか不思議な部屋だな。不思議な会社だな。こんにちは。こんにちは。こんにちは。あ、なにこれ。マンデー。会議室ってどこだよ。案内しろ。おい、指示中。案内しろ。そっちじゃないよ。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his
今回は指示に従っていこうと思います。こっち左だよね。右も左もわからない。あ、ここは会議室だ。ここにも誰一人としていません。進化の波が寄せてたんだ。上司オフィス。ハウチュー。何これ。そう、スカイネクさんいらっしゃい。こんにちは。用心。マジのパワポじゃん。なんかあれに似てるな、やっぱ。前やったやつ。どこ？上の階に。
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
はい。
Coming to a staircase,
こういう弱々やめて。
upstairs to his
バカ
boss's
が悪い。
office.
階段あったスタンリーは上の階。 うわ、もう全然違うやん。もうずるいって、このさ。なんこれ。Money is 字汚いな。Morning is evening. Money for be 字汚いだ。be careful 違うな。be なんたら。Money クリスプって何？お菓子かな。こんにちは、上司さん。うわ、ここやべえ。開けろや。なんでこんな屋根高いん
？Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
何然？呆然？
Unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
は、待って、やめて。違うよ、これ戻して。
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code. By sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
薬物やってるこれ。もしかして。そんなわけないか。こういうところ嫌いなのよ。こういうところ嫌いなのよ。なにこれ？エレベーターか。こういうとこ嫌いなのよね。何ですかここ。見るからにやばいよな。建物奥深くに進んでいくと奇妙な感じがすることに気づきました。感情を揺さぶりました。
Why did he feel this now, when for years
な
it
ぜ
had
今に
never
なってそ
occurred
う
to
感じ
him?
るのか。
This question would not go unanswered for long.
うわびっくり。読めてよ。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
帰るんかこっち。やべ、監視カメラに見られてる。奥ちゃんが来たんバレちゃうよ。
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What
うわ、
horrible
すげえ。
secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to
こ
himself.
れ
Did
ど
he
ん
have
な
the
恐ろしい
strength
秘密
to
がある
find
のだろう。
out?
違う。見るからにやばいよ。ここで働いてる人もいるんかな。カメラ。
Now the monitors
うわ
their true nature revealed. Each
お
bore
う
the
ちの
number
番号
of
うちの番号
employee
あ
in the building.
この辺
Stanley's
この辺
co-workers. The
スタンリー
lives
の
of
部屋
so
あ
many
あれじゃね
individuals reduced to images on a screen.
あれ
And
じゃないうちの部
Stanley,
屋
one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
違った426あそこだあ427かあれだスタンリーの部屋暗っなんかところどころ違うのあるぞえところどころ違うやつある
This mind control
このマインドコミュ
facility,
ニシス
it
これ
was
死
too
ぬより恐ろ
horrible
しす
to
ぎるので
believe it
こんな
couldn't be
真実
true.
なはずがない
Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his
なんか来た
emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
失礼します
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone
他人が
else's
操作して
control.
た。ありえない。
It was
そんなのありえないよ。
wasn't it? Was it even
そん
possible?
な可能なわけあ
Had
る
he
かいな。
truly spent his
私はスタンリ
entire
ー。
life utterly blind to the world?
指示に従うのが楽しいと思っていただけ。
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and
ここで命令されてた全部。
And as the cold reality
そ
of
ん
his
なの嘘だ。
past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
何これ。あ、何これ。この水に入ったら溶けちゃうかな。水じゃねえんかい。めちゃめちゃ水かと思った。水じゃねえのか。でっかいモニター。こんなんでゲームしたら頭おかしくなっちゃう。システムコア。エネルギー源を見つけた。
His obligation
彼の
to
義
put
務
an
と責
end
任
to
であ
this
ると
horrible
知りました。
place and to everything it stood for.
何を押したらいいの？なんて言ってた終わらせるのが義務って言ってた。オフじゃん。もういきなり間違える？もしかして。何って言ってた？終わらせるって言ってたからオフ。えい。やっちゃったやっちゃった。やっちゃったんだ。
And a rising chill of uncertainty.
そして不安で高まる気持ち。終わったおい、終わったって思ってるよ。
Yes.
やった！彼は勝ったです。よし！
He had defeated the machine.
破壊した彼自身の誰かの支配から解放しました。
Freedom was mere
自由はすぐ
moments
そこにあったの
away.
です。
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lived,
こんな何山の中にいたの？
and that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Open door.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley
そしてスタンリーは幸せでした終わり？終わり？自由を手に入れたの？あれ？なんで私はここにいるの？外に出たんじゃないの
？All of his co-workers were gone.
What?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
シーズン2始まったって。You can jump. You can jump 開いた。ジャンプボタン何だよ。屈伸や。おい。おいおいおい。 もう一回遊べるとよね。これ何？第一シーズン終わったってこと？ってことは、こっからいろんなルートをたどれるってことね。で、右行っちゃう。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
従業員ラウンジより、それを褒めたたえられたかったのでしょう。寄らない方向性で行く？寄れないよな。寄らなきゃいけないよ。
Yes, truly a room worth admiring, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't.
とても下手で何でもクビになる。
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off.
さあ、スタンリー、もしかしたら私たちは。
Really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been
あなたは気にも留めてこなかった誰かがいるんです、スタンリー。あなたが忘れてしまった人がいるのです。お願いだから一人で全てを決めようとしないで。いや、私のために助けているのだ。彼女のためだ。彼女のためだってよ、お前。
Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside,
彼女はあなた自身を取り戻すのです。
She's been
彼女は待って
waiting.
いますよ。暗いよ。暗いところ苦手なのよ。じゃあ開かないの？行くしかない。よう消す。おお。
That's her, Stanley.
黙
You
れ。
need to be the one to do this. To
黙れ。
reach out to her. If you can truly place your
黙れ。
faith in another,
No, no,
then
no.
pick up the phone.
No.
As Stanley picked up the phone, a
取って
wide
ない。
light
取って
engulfed
ないよ、で
him,
も。
filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone?
電話線抜いちゃったの？
No, that wasn't supposed to be.
なんであれ
How
は
did
選
you
択
do
できない
that?
はずだったの？
You
どうやった
actually
の？
chose incorrectly.
ちょっとマジで選択
I
ミ
didn't
ス。
even know that was
それが
possible.
できたってこと
Let
さ
me
知らない。
double check.
そういう係さ。
No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand.
めっちゃ焦ってるやん。
How on earth are you
ナレー
making
ターさん。
meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley.
あなたはスタンリーじゃない。あなたは実在の人物です。
I can't believe
めちゃめちゃ
I'm
ため
so
息疲れる。
mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
役立つ教育ビデオをご覧ください。
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, it can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person
ご
named
覧く
Rupert
ださい。
has a choice. He could invent a machine
切れ
that
ないな。
eliminates food shortages across the world to make life better for
おお、
all
虫
people.
がハンバーガーになっちゃ
Or
う
he could spend years of hard work forgetting how to read. Which choice would you make?
どっちのチョイ
Remember
スが
that
いいです
unlike
か？
here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should
Sense.
you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic.
そんな難しいけんさ、
Speaking
こ
with
れ。
a person who
に
does
い
not
たせ
make
よ。
sense, in
に
all
いたせよ、そんな
likelihood,
難し
that
くない
person
だ
is
ろ。
not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness,
なんてこっ
is it
た。4時半。
4:30?
ほら、
I'm
例の
supposed
あ
to
の
be
脱
having
毛をや
a
んなきゃ
back
なんだ。
sack and crack."
あ、
Excellent. Making
やべえ、間違
choices
え
on a
た
regular basis is
指示
the
に
best
従っ
part
ちゃう
to
ん
a
だ。
healthy decision-making process.
もう
Most
幸
medical
せな音楽が流
professionals
れ始め
recommend
て
making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less?
8以上選択
And
やますか
finally,
な
if you
何
begin to
もう
wonder
宇
if
宙
your
猫
choices
だよ、
are
うち
actually
今。
meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution
何
to
を
the
喋ってい
world,
るか
just
理
remember
解がで
that
き
in
な
the
い。
vast infiniteness
頭
of space, your
頭がお
thoughts
か
and
しくなる。
problems are materially
頭がおか
insignificant,
しくなる。
and the
何
feeling
星
should
屑の一個が
subside.
お前だって。
At
うる
this
せえ、頑張
time,
れ。
your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the
何
material
こ
covered
れ。
in this video.
Ah, welcome
あ、
back.
何がこ
I've
れ。
noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few minutes
不思議
ago
な。
and see what the correct thing to do would have been. This way, please.
こちらです、どうぞ。どっか出口ないの？こんなに積まれることある？ここか。どこに行くってんだよ。分かった？
Now that we know your choices are meaningful,
お、
we
閉
can't
じ
have
ら
you
れちゃった。
jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying
ジャンプってどうやってやんだよ。
halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as
ジャンプって何ボタンだよ。スペース効かねえぞ。
before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to
ジ
deal
ャンプ
with
効かねえ
reality.
よ。下に行きたいな。お、出口じゃん。下出口で。あ、なんか変わってる看板。ジャンプないんだ。返されるんだけど。やばい、閉じられちゃった。閉じられちゃったよ。
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending. The story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real
閉
world.
じられちゃったよ。
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always
閉
putting
じ
the
込められ
story
ちゃった
first.
よ。
I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just
私言わ
follow
れ
my
た通り
lead
して
and
おけ
you'll
ば
be fine.
絶対大丈夫だ
All
か
right.
ら。大丈夫。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction. Perhaps we're not too late.
なんやこれ !1、2、3。バグっちゃってるよ。なんかいろいろ崩壊し始めてる。すげえ。崩壊し始めてるよ。なんもないよ。しょうがないな。
Oh, it's ruined.
歌い出した。あなたやっぱ
Everything
り
we talked
あなた
about
は
that
死
you,
んでるかも
my
できません。
story. You've destroyed my work. Why? For what?
よいしょよいしょ。
What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much
ゴミの
garbage?
匂いつったら
It's worthless.
価値もない。
And what am I supposed to do?
勝ちた言わ
Even
れ
if
た。
there were a way to continue,
悲
would
し
it
い
be。worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know.
何か
What's the
答
answer?
え
What do I do?
どう
What do
し
I
よう。
do?
どうしたら
What do I- No, I have to.
いや
I have
し
to
なく
shut
ちゃ
the game
ゲー
down.
ム終了しなくちゃしなくちゃ
I have to.
しなくてはうわ狂ってる頭いかれちまったついにうわすごい SF チックな音が流れてる
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here.
おお。どうした？人格変わったと。
You who thought you were so clever.
あなた自分がきっと
Now look
昔
where
こ
we
れ。
are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground.
あな
What
たが
did
ダ
you
メ
think
に
that
し
would
た
be
のです。
funny? You just had to see. Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be
出口な
like
いよ。
Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That
ガ
thought
チ横だよ。
hadn't even occurred to
どう
you,
して
had
指
it?
示値を怒らしちゃ
That
った。
there's a world outside of you.
うるせえ。
You're a child.
あなたはほんの子供。はぁ
Story.
子供扱いし
If
た。
you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard to make behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
レフトね。オッケー。
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the
繰り
story
返されちゃうんだ、これ。
I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right.
オッケー、任せて。
When Stanley came to a set
二人が
of 2
2つ
open
並んだドア
doors,
の前
he
に行きま
entered
した。
the door on his
これは
left.
レフト、オッケー。何も言ってくれなくなっちゃった。
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back.
お、一生繰り返されるんだ、これ。
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story
もう
first.
二度と右
I'm
側
quite
行け
sure
ないよ
you'll。be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of
壊れち
2
ゃったよ。
open doors,
完全に。
he entered the door on his left.
これ選ばないと強制大会、強制終了される。強制リロードされちゃう。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find it. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
下の階に行けないじゃん。なんだよ。お、一個部屋になった。ここに行くしかなくなっちゃってるよ。え、なんか変わってる部屋が。パンダだ。
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life.
変わってるよ。
Unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Nightshark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code. Stanley spoke the code. Nightshark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
俺に話しかけたってこと？
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the
ちゃんと声出し
receiver.
てコード言って
Otherwise
も
we
らえます
can't get on with the story. This
話
is
が
a
進まないで
crucial
す。
step.
No!
Okay, fine, you're not gonna do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating
で
to
も
bring
さ、
you
こ
this
こまで
far,
やっ
only
てお
for
いて、
you to
う
suddenly
ちあなただ
decide
け
you had
もっ
better
といい
things to
報告
do.
があるって言われ
I
るなら、
asked you for this one
もう読ませてくれ。
thing for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously.
ボイじゃないからできないんだ。
Show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way?
なぜこし
Say something to
マ
me.
ジなんか言え。
Explain
釈
yourself,
明
you
書この
coward.
首をもの。ああ、怒られすぎだろ。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his
見せ
left.
られてる。スタンリーのお手本を見せられてる、これ。
Stanley? Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice.
ザ・エンド
I。need you to walk through the door.
終わった
Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything alright?
終わった
Stanley, this is important.
終わらされたんだけ
It
ど。
needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose.
頼むから選んで。
Do something.
なんかしてよ。
Anything.
声が
More
悲しそう
important。than you can ever know. I need
かわいいナレーターの人。
The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? You listening to this? Stanley, are you
もう
there?
スタンリーがいるかさえも怪しい。
Okay. It's okay, I can wait.
泣いてるやろ。
You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct.
そういうことか。プレイヤー追い出されて、うちが上にいるから、スタンリーが抜け殻なんだ。ごめんね、リロイ。
I'll wait for you to decide
リロイって
what's
誰
the right thing to do. Take as much time as you need.
そのだけに時間かけてくださいね。おー、で、こっからまた新しいストーリーが始まるんだ。ほえー。途中まで従って途中でブレるとかだったら変わるのかな。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
同じ行動をしてみるか。あそこの前で止まってみようか。
When Stanley came to a set of two
ここ
open
で止ま
doors,
ってみ
he
ようか。
entered the door on his left.
同じこと言ってくれるのか。水では飲むか。どうも指示中です、タイヤロ。指示中、指示して。みんなの指示に従うか、そしたら。動かないとダメっぽいな。ういー。ういー。ういー。壁壊したい。おらおらおらおら。何キーが使えるのまず。インタラクトって何？開けるとかだよね。壁破壊したいよー。ほいー。ほいー。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
こ
well.
こで
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the
こっち行って
employee
みよう
lounge
か。
first,
最
just
初
to
の
admire
部
it.
屋を左って言ってたの。
Wow, yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door
こ
on
こ
his
行って
left.
みるか。
And so he detoured through the
メン
maintenance
テナンス
section,
部。
walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
なんだここ。
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go
行く必要がありました。
From here, it's, left.
なんで急に歌い出したの？トゥットゥントゥントゥットゥットゥトゥントゥントゥントゥントゥン。 なんだこれ。下回りだ。
Oh no.
Oh
no! It's to the right, my mistake.
何間違えてんだよ。
No,
No, no, no.
Why would I have ever
なんで
said
右
it
手
was
行っちゃ
to
っ
the
たんだろう。
right?
私は一体何考
What was
え
I
てたの。
thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
このゲームいや初めて知ったけど詳しいから任せて。
Now, let's see.
詳しいなら任せた。
Left, down, left, right.
Left,
Okay,
right,
okay,
down,
yes.
left, right.
I've got it now. This
Okay,
story
okay.
is absolutely, definitely
間違いなくこっ
this
ち
way.。
あ、言ったね。ほんと？お、プップだ、プップ。
No, 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 no. This isn't right at all.
こんなん全然楽しくないし、あなたまだここに来ちゃダメなんですよ。ネタバレしちゃう。
Okay. We just have to get back to
乗らなくちゃいけないの。
Who am I kidding?
お、なんて
It's
ね。
rubbish
もう
now.
全然ダメだわ。
The story is completely unusable. How about
台
rather
本に
than
なり
waste
ま
my
せんよ。
time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the
車
beginning.
のことプッ
And
プっ
this
て言ってん
time,
のは3歳
suppose
ま
we
でです
don't
よ。
wander so far
やべ。
off track, hmm?
3歳ってことバレ
From
ちゃ
the
う。
top.
これ頭からやらせて。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
あそこに行くとまた戻らされちゃうの？それとも、もう一回行ったら、
When Stanley... Wait, what?
スターリーが待ってちゃう。何？
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the
何
monitors?
も変えてないよ。
Did you
ス
move
トーリー
the
どっかに動
story
かしたりと
somewhere or...
か。
Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere.
なんか部屋増えた？そんなわけないか。
It's an adventure. Come,
冒
Stanley.
険だ！
Let's find
スターリ
the
ー
story.
を見つけようぜ。うおーどこ行こうかな。ここ行きたいな。貸してくれ。どこがいいかな。ね、みんなどこがいいこれ。1、2、3、4、5窓5個あるけど。あそこ2つ行ったから、違う方行きたいな。うわ、スタンリー今とても興奮しています。端から潰したい。オッケー、こっちからでしょ。
I'll say it. This is the
一番
worst
最悪な冒険です言われて
I
る。
can promise you,
約束
there
しよう。
definitely was a
ここには
story
前
here
にストーリ
before.
ーがあったんです。
Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than
め
this.
ちゃめちゃ多
Okay,
い
let's
道
give it a
が。
shot. Why not?
は
All of his co-workers
戻され
were
たん
gone.
だけど。
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
あの部屋に行くと戻されるってことあれ
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be
もっとひどいぞ
remembering。this wrong.
気を食い違い
It's
してる
possible。the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed
別の
anything?
方向に向かっていませんか？しょうがない。行くとこないんだもんだってね。
Aha! I knew we'd
なん
missed
か見よう
something.
としてた。
The story.
ストーリー、来た来た。
No, wait, never
いや
mind.
待って、何も
The
ない
story.。Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
よしよし。別の何かが待ってる。おー、なんか変わったぞ。
Now this, well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize
全
this
く
place
見
at
覚えが
all.
ないんです。
Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story
す
took
げえ
place
リ
in
ア
an
ル木
office
が。
building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley?
ああ、うち全然覚えてないよ、これ。
Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing,
こういうの
how
はどう
about
でしょう。
this? You win!
よっ、やったーイエーイ
I know you put in a lot of hard work,
あった、な
and
ん
it
か。
really paid off, so
指
good
示中に
job.
勝った。
Oh no, I don't feel right
指
about
示
this
中
at
に
all.
勝てたぞ。
We both know you didn't put in any actual work
ウ
for that win.
ィーン
Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this
私は
place
引い
is.
ていま
I
す。
don't care what
引
might
くな
happen
よ。
this time. I have to restart.
Easy. GG easy. いやー、もう黄色いレール光り始めた。
This time, to make sure we don't get lost,
迷子にならないよ
I've
うにちゃ
employed
んと
the
引いてお
help
きました。
of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? No, I'm down. We're leaving it up to the line from now on.
あー、何もう線に任せちゃうんだこれ。あー、もうナレーションも諦めちゃったわけ。行く場所がここしかないんだよな。
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley,
進め、
to
スタンリ
destiny.
ー、運命へと。
Here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me.
ついてきてくれますか
Now we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence, right? Okay. Now, if my experience of your existence rests inside of your subjective experience of this office, is this office in fact the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
お、なんか何冒険始まったぞ。何の音？楽しくなっちゃったよ。この BGM で楽しくなっちゃった。あー、酔う。そうね。006番。タラタラタタラタン。ゴリンゴリンゴリン。ジグジャグジグジャグ。ジグジャグジグジャグ。ウィーンウィーン。なんもないなぁ。行けそうなところがなんもない。
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern.
血だ。
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story?
No.
Is any of this ringing a bell?
No. どっちから来た？どっちから来た？私は誰？どこ？何をしたよ？こっから来た。ここから来まして、あっちから家だから、こっちか。でも従ってるんだけどね、今これ。完全に。うわ
！Oh, no.
ダメ。
How could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore.
うんざりだ。
Restart.
Oh no. また始まっ
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right?
私たちは
Why can't we
賢い人
make
間
up
でし
our
ょ
own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. This all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
どこが開いた今？新しい道来た。
Now, yes, this is exciting.
Exciting
Just
だ
me
ね。
and Stanley forging a new path, a new story.
二人だけで
What
新し
could
い
it
道、新しい
What do
ス
you
トーリーを
want
切り
our
開くの
story
で
to
す。
be?
私たちのストーリー
Go
どんな感じ
wild.
ワイルドに
Use
行こ
your
うぜ。
imagination.
想像力を働か
Whatever
せ
it might
て。
be, Stanley, I'm ready for
私
it.
は準備できますよ。行くぞおい、お前何名前
Oh, no,
Oh.
not you again.
Oh.
Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story.
Oh.
No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
ライン、おー、すごいとこ行くな。
Ah, a choice.
選択、私たちが決められるんだ。
From here, the
ここ
story
から
is
ス
in
トーリーは
our
我々の支配下
control.
にある。
How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here.
考える
Just
時間
walk
が
in
必要だ
circles
と
for
思い
a
ます。
minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in
どこに
turn
繋がるんだろう
means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us
右から
ask,
順に。
will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes,
どう
then
考え
by
ても
all
右が
accounts,
正解
the
のド
door
ア
on the
だ。
right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny
私たち
awaits.
の運命が待ってる。開けてよ左に行きたいのに。混乱エンド。
Hold up, what's this? The confusion ending.
混乱エンド
You're
ですね。
telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending.
今までのやつが
And
書
we're
いてある
supposed to restart the game what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined?
決まってんの
So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this
全部
thing
書いてある。
wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it
え、
really?
ナレーターを操られてた
No,
っ
it
て
can't
こ
be.
と
I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped?
もうじゃな。
Does that mean did we do it? Did we break
こ
the
のサイクル
cycle?
を断ち切っ
The,
たの
whatever it is that made
え、
this
あ、こ
schedule.
の企画をしたの
How
は
would we
一体
even know?
うちもナレーターも
Will
指
something
示さ
happen?
せられてたってこと
So, okay.
ついにスタ
I
ン
guess
リー
now
が
we
死
just
ぬ。
wait. You know, I suppose in
飽
some
きて去る。
way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey.
こうや
Though
って
they're
やる
all
のが
saying
正解だっ
that
た。
life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do...
うわ、びっくりした。ベルさん、コンビニいらっしゃい。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
ナレーターはま
Stanley
だい
decided
る
to。go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
何が何だかよ。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
行ってみるか。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
お、最初に戻ってる。めっちゃ最初や。こんなでっかいトイレある。一人用のトイレだよ。うわ、マジで最初の通りじゃん。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number.
どこ？開けれるとこないよ。
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
知らないからさ。打ち込まない方向性ある。
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs.
ただそれ
Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
そうだよ、知らない。2845。お腹鳴っちゃった。2845 言われ続けるぞこれ多分。2845鑑賞解消。奥さんとの写真かな。
But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the whole of the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
勝手にドア開いたって。追加でやっても開かないんだ。なるほどね。勝手に開くスタイルなんだね。もう何のルートがあるかね、わかんねえよね。下に行くしかないこれ。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
死を告げる？死を遂げるか。死を遂げんの？
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his
俺の
death.
死に着するのです。おお！本当に死んだ。ああ！おお、びっくり、生きてる。
Stanley was inched closer and
うわ、
closer.
潰されるんだ。
He reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger
潰さ
picture.
れるんだあ
He
れ。
doesn't know the real story. Trapped forever in his
どこ
narrow
が
vision of what this
逃
world
げる場
is.
所はないか。
Perhaps his
ト
death
ミ
was
さん
of
ご
no
めんな
great
さい。
loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he
あ
willingly accepted this
あ、
violent
死
end
にたくない
to
よ。
his brief and shallow life.
ああ。さらばだスタンリー。さよなら。
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
おお！ザ・スタンリー・パラボル。すごい。え？
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, Death becomes meaningless.
何
making life the same.
決められてんだ、こ
Do
れ
you。see now?
いける
Do
と
you
ころ
see
が
that。Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
飛ぶ棚。どうか。スタンリー博物館ってな。スタンリーのパソコン。博物館やん。わしの博物館やん。ネタバレ部屋なんだ。見ないのか。ネタバレ部屋なんだ。ネタバレ部屋らしいから下向いとこう。謎のチェーンあるって。笑われた
Oh,
の。
look at these two.
彼ら
How
見
they
て。
wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
なんなのこの部屋は。
Perhaps not.
最後に行くべき部屋だっ
Sometimes
た。
these things cannot be seen.
謎すぎる。
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push
何
escape and press quit.
また殺され
There's no
る
way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice.
また殺され
Whatever
る。
you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
何しろって言ってた。あ、痛い。痛いよ。椅子から崩れ落ちそうだった今。何しろって言ってた？エスケープキー押せって言ってた？
Someone was following Stanley.
あ、いつ
He
も
was
のだ。
sure of it. If he
いつも
checked
の
over his
声だ。
shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
いつもの声が。あ、死にたくなかったらエスケープから
When
終了しろ
Stanley
ってこ
came to
と？
a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
あとどの選択肢がある？あ、オンか。オンの選択肢があるのか。
Yet there was not a single person here either.
扉は閉められるか
Feeling a
ら
wave
後
of
戻りはで
disbelief,
きないんだよな
Stanley。decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
ここまでは早いぞ。
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the
話させよう
narrator
としま
talk.
せん。
That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
おお、また始まった音楽が。これ大丈夫か？経理的に大丈夫かこれ。
Feeling soothed
落
and
ち着き、元気を
rejuvenated,
取り戻した
Stanley
感じがし
calmly
ま
walked forward into the opened passageway.
す。あ、出れなかった。押した瞬間出れるかなって思ったら出れなかった。Let's go, let's go!
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
ここ来たらもう押すしかないんだよな。
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens.
左あと3
What
つ4つあ
horrible
るん
secret
だね
did。this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
これ全部押さなきゃいけないんだ。多分オンルートであと3つ4つってことかな。
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to
もう
images
そ
on
っ
a
ちから来るん
screen.
か。まあそう
And
か。
Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe.
すごいよな。
Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
あの青いのなんて書いてあるんだろう。あの辺にさ。
No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control. Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
どっちどっち。待て。
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Anyway. あとどこにある？あれじゃね？ 5って書いてあるよ。1、2押したよ。3。なんか押せんのか？あと3。4どこだ？じゃあ4どこだ？1、2、3押して、あれじゃないの？これじゃないか。3だもんね。5。あれが4。どうやって登る？そしたら。これ5でしょ。どうやって登るの？押せない。押せない。押せない。こうしたらどうなの？来ないよな。ちゃんと1回ずつ押すか。なんか2回ボンボンって押してるから。1、2。え、なにこれ？あ、下か。下にいるのか。開かないぞ。どっから押すんだこれ。あ、違う。521じゃね？どこ？合ってんのかな？わかんないね。 違う。あそこの数字じゃねえんだ。扉の数字じゃねえんだ。なんかでも数字隠れてそうじゃない？どうせか。カラフル。0521じゃない。14に4を押せないんだよな。0もないし。ここ開けられる方法がない。じゃあオンにしに行くか。これ一旦置いといて。ここに書いてあったりしないか。
And when at last he found the source of the... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode. How long until detonation then? Let's say 2 minutes.
Oh no!
Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it,
2
Stanley?
minutes!
It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires.
2分で爆発
This
する
is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going.
Oh,
I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game one solved?
Oh
no! Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No enemy, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Make it count, or don't. It's all the same, all a part of the joke. 酔いそうな人は海を見てください。酔いそうな人は海を見てください。まず、死んだ。死んだ。 All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it?
待てよ、いや、ここいつものオフィスなのか。ここはスタンリーのオフィスなのでしょうか。ニューコン、なんでニューコンティニューなぜ
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
本当にここはスタンリーのオフィスなのでしょうか。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
いつも通りだな。
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Surprise.
早くなってる、早くなってる。何もしてないのに。なんなら間違えてるのに。もうわかりますよ、私。道順ならもうわかりますよ。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself.
ここまで来ちゃうの見たエンドしかない。マジ？あの数字は何だったのじゃあ。それ以前にあるんだ。
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's co-workers.
それでみんな時間が長いんだ。配信時間が。なるほどね。いろんなツール行ってずっと一緒やんけをやるから。あれが気になるんだ。リセットしてもいい？リセットするかじゃん。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Oh, new content? What does that mean? New content.
どういう意味？ニューコンテンツ来た。うおー！モンスターズインクみたいな、なんかドアが。
Hello and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
じゃあこそありがとう。
The Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers.
再構築されました。イエーイ！
The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
会社の皆さんに楽しんでいただけるよ。おお、改良されたの？
Please step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
ウルトラデラックス来たー。
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
めちゃんこワクワクしちゃう。 めっちゃワクワクしちゃうね。
So far it's an
ワクワクしてきたぜ。
Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
何を押すの？
Is it broken?
どうしたの？
What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere? Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new
準備は万端だ。やろうぜ。
more ready. Let's do it.
楽しんでるやん。ナレーターさん。じゃあ、来ちゃう。
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe mostly tedious. It's as if Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
コンテンツちょうだいよ。
All right.
そうだよ。あとジャンプサークルですね。
The jump circle?
オッケー。ジャンプしてみるか。ジャンプできるようになる。ほんとだ。めちゃめちゃジャンピング。やっとジャンプできるようになったよ。よし。クリアや。
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
なんかあんのかな？ The room looks pretty interesting. おもろいか。
Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say,
Stanley.
initial impressions of this game
だ
are
から
not
スタンリーの呼び方い
It's
いな。
just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for
Hello,
exciting new
I
content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right
10
there.
時間分の新コンテンツがある。
I could counter
ほ
30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley
それは
Parable
いい
Ultra
ね。
Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh wait, there's more. Yes.
まだあ
I
る
knew
じゃ
there
ない
had to
か
be
よ
something
ね。
else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever
何
it
があるん
is.
かな？
That's it?
Enjoy
Oh,
some
you've
new
got to be
content.
kidding me. You see,
お
Stanley?
前から
This
か
is
って
what
んの？
happens when greedy video
ファンの
game
気持ちを無
developers
視し
with
て。
no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to
金儲
market
けの
for
ために
no
ある時
reason
安っぽい
other than
拡
to
張
make
版。
an easy dollar.
終わり
And
ま
don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the
Thank you,
game's
Ma.
achievements, and it's hard to believe one
怒
of
って
them
るよね、
actually
ナレー
says
ターも。
test achievement, please ignore. What quality assurance department signed off
う
on
ち
this?
もナレーターも
I'm
怒ってるよ、今。
infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold
Twitter.
them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too
Stanley.
much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about.
任せ
No
て。
frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
どうかなと思うよ。本当に本当に終わり。あれ、変わってる。
Psst. Stanley, come over here. In the vent. I want to
Okay.
show you something.
オッケー。何があるの？
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret.
小さな秘密です。見て見て。何？
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my
これ
life
が何？
whenever
スタ
I
ンリーとあ
want.
なたのお家？
Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable
Memory
on
Zone.
PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release?
また
Remember
博物館
back
来
in
たこれ。
October
メ
of
モリーって。
2013, when the game originally launched.
覚えて
Back
ない
then,
ね。ま
video
だキーやっ
games
た
had
から。
integrity. Back then, it all
全然
meant
知らん。
something.
うわー。
Oh, the week. And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "We're so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art. Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim. It was Persona 3. It was all of them. And now, it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
いい家だな。こういう家住みたいかも。ちょっとミッドサマー感あるけど。また自慢してきた。
The Stanley Parable is both a
また自慢してきたよ。9点取りましたよ。
games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game. 9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
めっちゃ自慢してくるわ。なにここ開いたけど、ジャンプすらできねえ。あ、なにソリューションロー。なに貸してくれない。行かしてくれないのこれ。ジャンプできないこれ。新コンテンツじゃないからジャンプできないな。戻るしかねえ。
These were simpler times, Stanley. What I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no. Oh God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's being collected down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Oh.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Funny? I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
ここにもある。これいいね。
Okay, let's see what this one says.
あ、なにあれ回数だったな。使えるジャンプの。
For someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh goodness, this is actually quite shocking for me. I always, well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it, well, I always thought it did, but maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I ought. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have. And here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No, 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 no. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people, and if the people want silence, then...
ガチのスキップボタン。
Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a display of self-absorption, it's right at your fingertips to go off, and it's all over. Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe
めちゃめちゃスキップされてる。あれ、扉なくなってる。待って待って。扉なくなってるよ。マジでないじゃん。
But at any rate, I do suggest that we not press the button again.
Okay.
Stanley, please don't push the button again.
12時間経ったマジ
You've just been
そこでフリーズしてたんですね。
I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer. And my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls 1,000 times. And there's no door, Stanley.
There's no
door. There's just you and the button, and if you keep pressing it, I have no idea what will happen. I have no idea how long I'll be made to sit here, and more than anything else, I don't know how to stop you from pressing the button again. Oh, Stanley.
夜になって暗くなってる。やっと誰かと話ができる。
Stanley, I think
1週間。1週間もスキップしたの。
Just sitting here, not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking, you saying nothing. Would you think
ドアないしな、本当に。出れなくなっちゃったよ。
Doesn't that feel like what we've already been doing? Me just talking? But it isn't, Stanley. It isn't the same at all. It isn't even close. Because I know you can't hear me once you push that button. That's what I'm realizing now, Stanley. I'm realizing that I needed to know that someone was listening. I needed there to be a vessel through which my words were moving. It was the vessel I needed, Stanley, not the outcomes, not the story. None of that matters anymore. I'll give it all up. I'll give up every branching path. I'll burn my story to the ground. One single thing I need, and God, I can see now that I need it more than anything, is to know that someone else is taking it in. These words that I'm saying, I need to know you can hear me. Because maybe, Stanley, maybe, if you can hear me, then maybe it means I'm real. Maybe I'm not just a fiction. Was I scared of that all along? Perhaps, yes. Perhaps I've been scared this whole time.
なんか悲しくなってた。ごめん、スキップなんかして。
I can't be taken by it, Stanley. I can't lose myself in the stretch of emptiness between you and me. When you press that button, you're still right there, but I know you're so tremendously far away. And in those moments, the emptiness folds itself outward in between the two.
真剣に読んじゃってる今。心が揺さぶられてる。
I can feel the edges of my reality curdling in.
ナレーターさんの感情が。
I can tell that I am becoming less and
どん
less
どん現実を失っていくのがわかるんです。
Now, I am alive. I am truly and completely
完全にここにいる。
I am someone.
私は存在して、私が誰か
I am being listened to. I am being recognized. The emptiness between us has collapsed, and I feel right now like I am not a work of fiction. I feel as though I occupy space in this world again, and I have cast a shadow onto the wall. You see what I'm saying, don't you? You can see what this means to me. I'm so clear about it now, Stanley. I feel as certain about this as I've ever felt about anything at all. I feel renewed. I feel restored and already I sense the looming silence as you will press the button for the next time. What a terrible dread it's
ちょっとわかんなくなってきた。何を喋ってるかわかんなくなってきた。
Oh, hello, it's you.
あ、こんにちは、君か。
I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through.
大田変わってるなんか
So much time, I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place was what I could only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single instant.
全部崩れて人格崩壊させたってこと違う。
Calmly, with a collected heart. It was an impossibly rich wellspring of both
もう
delight
不
and
思議な話し始めた。
simultaneously. I was consumed by it. I could do nothing but wallow in it for what felt like an
また長いんだ
eternity.
これ。
For what I
喋りかけてこなくなっちゃったもん。喋りかけることさえしてくれなくなっちゃった。怒ったんだ。ごめんね。モールス信号で会話し始めた。
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain.
おい、どう喋った。お警報落ちてる。何年スキップしたんだろう。何年スキップしたんだ。
The end is never the end, is never the end, is never the end.
Oh no, oh no.
Is never the end, is never the end.
Oh no. 壊れちゃった、本当に。本当に壊れちゃった。完全な崩壊だよ。なんかどんどんピエンのゲームに見えてきた。黄色い。わあ。出れないあそこから。黄色い丸と暗い背景を見るとピエンに覚えてきた。出れないぞ。うわあ、草生えてきた。この木の実食べれそうやな。ちょっと酸っぱい。グミの木みたいだな、これ。さらに、もっと廃れちゃったんだけど。さっきの森は何だったの？無音でしかない。ガチのピエンだ、これ。聞こえてくる音楽が。おーれ、まあ。すごく青空。素朴だ。こんなところにずっといたの、スタンリーは。何年経ったんだよ。もうボタンも押せないよ。ムーメ滅びちゃった。まさかのだよ。みんな 一体何だったの？帰ってきた。
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned?
うお、なに？ネオンになってる。
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting to show you.
新しいものが見れると。ニューコンテンツさらに来た。新たなニューコンテンツ。
Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce
ここで初めて発表することを大変光栄に思い
the
ます。
Stanley
ザ・
Parable
スタンリー・パラボル。チュー。うおー。チュー。チューチュー。
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly re-release with a few
これ
minor
さ、こうやった
additions?
だけ。
Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully
新しいお
an
家や。
entirely new experience built from the ground up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions.
上、オフィスが
This
綺麗
is
になっ
what
てるよ。
fans have truly been asking for.
も
Calling it the
う
Stanley
薄
Parable
型になって
2
る
is
よ。だっ
just
て
so。much catchier than Ultra
モニターが。
Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean?
芸
But the
術
Stanley
的。
Parable 2, now
Whoa!
that's an
ここが
artistic
うちの部
statement
屋。
right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation
すげえおしゃれにな
and
ってる
long-term
よ。
franchising potential.
1より2上。ウィンウィン。2。そういうこと？もうどういうこと？これ、イケアにありそうやな、これ。
Now, to be clear, I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley
ど
Parable
の
2
よう
is
になるか
going
明
to
確ではありま
be.
せ
But
ん。
let's take a look at some of the
これお家？
features I've been developing for it.
お家なの？
I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally
Yeah.
spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game development is
Oh,
much
レッド
more
カー
of
ペ
a
ット来たって。
fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
猿だった。なにこれちっちゃい。ニュー。なんて読むのこれ。フォートレス。ニューフォートレス。What? ニューコンテンツバス。めっちゃ2をしてるね。うわー、おしゃれ。閉じ込められた。
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
いろいろあんだ。グッズある。グッズあるな。あれちょっと欲しいな。2の指のやつ。あと427の看板みたいなやつ。これ欲しいな。何これ。ネーム。名前呼んでくれるボタン。
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players
で
really
っかボ
want?
タン。
And of course, the first and most
more
obvious answer
just
is that they want to be
big.
individually
Big.
recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person
めっちゃ押
playing
したくな
the
るボタンこ
game.
れ。
Isn't that wonderful?
最高だよ。
Jim.
あ、誰
Sorry,
だよ。
I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you roleplay as Jim.
ジム、
to really
うちは
simulate
ジ
the
ム
full。experience
篠原
of
ジ
this
ム。
feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim.
OK。
Jim.
Yeah.
Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid button that says somebody else's name.
みたいなボタンでしかありません。
Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. Imagine yourself driving to work as Jim.
フリスビーで遊ぶ犬じゃないか、それ。
Staying up all night for a popcorn and horror movie sleepover as Jim.
ホラー映画無理
Developing
だ
a
ぞ。
crippling substance addiction.
薬の中毒ね。
Rediscovering
まずいま
yourself
ずいまずい。
through fringe religious groups as Jim.
どうす
And
ま
finally,
ずいまずい。
dying a slow death at an old age,
もうとんで
surrounded
も
by
ないよ。
members of your cult
そ
as
んな
Jim.
自分にはなりたくない。
Do you feel it in your soul? Are you really, truly Jim
本当
right
に
now?
真の自分ですか？
If so, then please step forward and press the button.
オッケーオッケー。私は、篠原ジムです。
Jim.
よしよしよし。
You see? What a thrill! What a rush! That was you! The
喜
button
びすぎだ。
described you! Do it again, do it again!
もう一回やってもう一回やって。オッケーオッケー。任せて任せて。ちょっと待ってちょっと待って。降りちゃった降りちゃった。いくよ。聞いててね。
Jim. It hits even harder the second time. If this were the only new feature in the Stanley Parable 2, it would still be worth the money.
ジムと呼ばれ
Let's
たい。
take a break from the gym button. I'm too emotionally drained from all of this personal validation. Whoa there, cowboy. Sometimes a person can be too much, Jim. I'm putting the gym
どう
button
どうどう。
away. Otherwise, soon
ああ、
you'll
ジ
start
ム
to
ボタ
lose
ン。
all sense of who you actually are.
あ、押せなくなっちゃった。ジムボタンおもれえな。ジムボタンクリッカーとか出してほしい。ビスケットじゃ物足りない。ジムボタンよ。
I suppose I could allow only people named Jim to play
Nani?
the Stanley Parable 2. That would actually... An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it would go at the end of the... well, we'll figure that out later.
OK。無限の穴。無限の穴、永遠に落ちてくる。なんでここ、ジャン
You
ピ
know
ン
what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first
使
time
い
we
切っちゃ
saw
ったん
the
で
jump
すか？
circle.
そうです。
Oh well.
そうなん
I
です。
suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
ジャンプ機能くれないの？猫がジャンプしてるわ。ここ何？コレクターズアイテム。あれがジム。かっちょいい。なにこ
Collectibles.
れ？日本やん。
Now it's a real
日
video
本の
game.
橋やん。
In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run
Wow.
around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on
なんか
with your
怖い。
own remarkable life.
ジムのやつだ。急に陽気。画面が急に陽気。
God, it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
現在地はそこなの？あと何見てない？何見てないんだ？私見てない。無限の穴。これは最後。この辺も。ちっちゃい道は最後でしょ。無限の穴に。
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is in fact a hole that you can fall down forever.
ほんまに永遠に落ち続けるの？
Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium.
これ落ちたらもうマジで一生落ち続けるの。もういいんじゃないって言ってあげてくれるかな。えい！
You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions if I do.
マジで無限に落ちてる。
Since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top and we can continue onwards.
G を押すと地上に戻ります。あ、ガチで無限に落ち続けんだこれ。
Now, I don't mean to be a bummer, but I do recommend you use the teleport button to go back to the top. Maybe do it on the sooner rather than later spectrum of things.
次、ちゃんとどんどんちっちゃくなってくる。
Okay, Stanley, I don't know quite how to say this tactfully, but it's possible that I slightly exaggerated the infinite nature of the hole. Is it a very, very deep hole?
有限な可能性があるってこと？
It's an extremely deep hole. I don't want anyone to say that it isn't an astonishingly deep hole. It is. Is it infinite?
無限？
Well, that sort of depends on
う
your
ちの無限
definition
の
of
定義にもよりますけ
infinity.
ど。
From one perspective, the infinite is merely philosophical in nature. It's more of a...
いた。
Okay, well, good for you. You found the bottom
よ
of
っ
the
しゃ
hole. You found me out, Stanley. I'm a liar and a cheat and you're so clever.
なんかあれ思い出す。
I
漫
think
画の
the issue here
無
is
限
just
の
that
塔みたい
you're
なやつ。
unusually fascinated by falling. What normal person actually wants to fall infinitely? I figured the hole was as deep as anyone would
もう地
actually
上に
need.
帰れな
Don't
くな
you
っちゃっ
put
たよ。
this on me. Maybe you're the problem. Look,
ちょっ
things
と
got a
ヒートア
little
ップし
heated
て
there. I think we
反
both
省
said
してる。
some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the whole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the
テレポー
teleport
トボタンを押
button
して穴の上まで
to
ワ
walk
ープ
up
し
to the
て
top of the
い
hole
きま
and we
すよ。
can move on. I'll just be up here when you're ready. Great. Now,
Okay.
I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel.
無限穴いいな。閉じられてるぞ、でも。なんか変わっちゃった？まだ落ちれる。何回でも落ちれる。暇つぶしゲームだな。このエリアは。と言ってないところは
Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with?
え、なに？おお！ここか。え、バースデーの風船？うわ、どっちだろうな。こっちだな。
You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Get well someday, it...
なんでやねん！青い方がいいって。風船欲しい。風船大好きなんだよな。スタンリー、風船欲しい。これないじゃん。うわ、風船
Or actually,
部屋に飾られる。
no, no,
風
I've
船
made
が
my decision. We're moving on.
かわいいじゃん。安心のバケツ。どれ
A
ど
common
れ
complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it was confusing and paradoxical, that it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental problem with the game. It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance.
ついてた今。変わった名前。
Anytime you're holding
ちょっと見てなかったちゃん
a
と。
sense of calm and
ほぼに
ease
なれん
will
な。
fill your mind and your heart. It's true.
バケツ
As
持っ
long
て
as
る
you
間
hold
は
onto the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly
欲しいあのバ
normal,
ケツ。
perhaps
早
even
く欲しい。
comforting. You may even come to long for the gentle embrace of jarring cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be honest, it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be
無
less
敵になれん
uncomfortable.
の？
Can you imagine what a pain in the ass that would be? Yes, the bucket is the perfect solution. Come on, give it a try.
しゃー笑いすぎ。
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person.
マジバケツじゃあラストでもバケツかぶろうかな。
All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2.
バケツ持ってこう。捨てられないんだけどね。バケツ持ったら。
Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? That really should be an award if it isn't already.
おー。なにこれ炎なんだけど。あと行ってないところはほんとだ、ほぼ無限の穴になってる。どこだあー、もうあそこかフリーニューインチ。なんたらかんたら。あっちも行ってない。よしっと。ここにバケツ持っていくね。
Now here's something special. You remember that broken test achievement that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the achievement. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the achievement will be given. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the achievement is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you. And I promise it will happen.
びっくりした。開かないじゃん。ここにあるってことか、不祥が。なんだよ、開かねえのかよ。ショックだよ。冠じゃない。なんだあれ。俺なんて言うの欲しいのによ。
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet?
まだ見てないやつは。どれだろうまだ見てないやつってどれだろうちょっと待ってね。よし。まだ見てないな。あの上行ったセッティングワールドチャンピオン。開けられないよ。ここは2の説明なのか。もう見たか。だいたい見た。なんかおしゃれだな。
All right. Have you seen everything you wanted to?
全部見ました。
Ready to move on now?
俺どれあれがスタンリー。もし誰が元になってんの
So, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. So, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay. Are you ready? Here it is. I give you The Stanley Parable 2!
イエーイ
Well, I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind. Hold on, let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes.
Yes.
This is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Yay!
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these games are, they wouldn't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Easily, of course. With respect. With care for the vision and integrity of the original game. Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, this is the Stanley Parable 2. Let me see if I can whip something up. All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
通始まったんだけど。
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
飛ばしちゃった。お、風船ちゃんとやってある。
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
おー、バケツだ。
Stanley
よっしゃ
picked up the bucket.
バケツテンション上がる。テンション上がるぜ。どこら中にあるの？
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
バケツバーナレーションになった。なるほどね。2変わんねえじゃん。ちょっと写真良くなった。そんなわけないわ。
Still no one was here. Stanley needed the bucket's warmth and comfort now more than ever. Perhaps his boss's office was where he'd find out. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Crushed by the weight of this revelation, Stanley may have broken down into an emotional dumpster fire, if not for the soothing presence. Even now, in his darkest of hours, but Stanley guessed the correct code by sheer luck. Was it that the bucket knew all along? Was the bucket guiding him? Yes, this is certainly the most logical explanation. You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
あ、こっちか。あ、いらっしゃい、どうも。ぴょんぴょん。他にこのルートにあるのかな？
The elevator raced downward, plummeting towards an unknown fate.
このルート来ちゃった。
It would
終わ
be
りか
all
もし
Stanley
かし
could
て。
do to keep himself together, if not for the bucket. Soothing him, comforting him, reassuring that in this darkest moment of uncertainty, he would be all right. The bucket is here for you, Stanley. Everything will be fine.
ここに一つあるの？上に戻れるのか？
Wait, Stanley said to the bucket. Can we go back up?
できる
When
の
I
か
was pressing those
ここじゃ
keypad
ね
buttons, there was something very intriguing about the number 3. I want to go back so I can try pressing the number 3 again.
そう
The bucket said nothing.
バケツ黙っていましたお腹鳴っちゃったお腹鳴っちまったあ、一緒だ。うん。
Here we are, said Stanley. Now I'm going to try out that number 3 button. He took the bucket over to the keypad and began absolutely slamming on the number 3 over and
3
over
をポチポ
and
チ押し
over.
始めました。3。何もならんだ
After taking some time to show the bucket around the boss's office, Stanley at last went to the keypad, where he began eagerly pressing the number 3 again and again.
あ、違うやんどうしてくれた
Well, he said, the number 3 is such a special button. I'm having the time of my life. Stanley looked expectantly at the bucket, but the bucket remained
バ
silent.
ケツ黙るな
This was a shock to Stanley, who had always felt such a connection with the bucket. How was this not as exciting to the bucket as it was to him? Once Stanley had had enough of the number 3, he got back in
エ
the
レベータ
elevator.
ーにもなりました本当に開かないのかな行けるとこないんだよな。
Perhaps the bucket had missed something. Perhaps it had not seen how much joy Stanley got from slamming the number 3 repeatedly.
楽しくさ、押してたのに。もうないか。
A hint of regret nagged in the back of Stanley's mind. Should he demonstrate the number 3 for the bucket again? Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
いけないのかなそこに進んじゃうとダメで、こっちでも変なルートになるからな。黄色いのが気になる。どこかなちゃんと扉閉められる。やっぱこっか。
Although this
まだ戻れる
but
ま
of course, Stanley and the bucket thought better of it and realized they simply had too much to live for. Nope, it's death for Stanley and the bucket.
ちょっと変わった
The door behind them was not shut. Stanley and the bucket still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley and the bucket were knowingly walking forward
ここ
into
の
a
道
very
はマジ
painful
で
death for each of them.
一緒なんだよな。隠し要素がある。どこだもう一回登ってよ、OK?
No, said Stanley to the bucket. You can't go on yet. Not till you understand how much the number 3 means to me. You and I have been through so much together, and I just want you to see what I see. Feel the happiness I feel. He smiled at the bucket, and the bucket said nothing.
ラストの地下行くやつみたいな、このエレベーター。あそこ行けそうだけど、どうやって行くの？この通路。
Here we go, said Stanley. This time I'll really show you. He ran to the number 3 and began to wail on it like a musician on a beloved instrument, weaving a concerto of truth and passion. He wielded the number 3 like a fine artist would wield a paintbrush. He told stories through the number 3, stories of his dreams and hopes and fears. And the whole time, he looked to his bucket for a reaction of some kind. Anything to let him know that the bucket appreciated what he was doing. The bucket conveyed absolutely nothing at all, only silence. Crushed by a wave of dejection, Stanley returned to the elevator.
バケツしか目の前にない。降りた。違う。こんな変な扉開けられないもん。なんかあんの？あそこ行きたいよ。行けないのかな。ロープではない。どうやって行くの？どうやって行くんだこれ。この扉ない。電話も取れない。カバンも開けない。なんかヒントあるんか？どっかに。んで降りる？マジ？そんなげでいいの？
Stanley and the bucket were so close. They'd always been there for one another. Why suddenly could the bucket not connect with this passion of Stanley? The question caused Stanley to ruminate the whole way down the elevator. He knew that there must be a way to get through to the bucket, to communicate fully with his dear friend. Surely there was a solution, mustn't there be? Stanley and the bucket walked straight ahead through the large door that read, Mind Control Facility.
ね、登る。そんなにあんの？ひたすら登って降りて、もうゲームのあれのね、ベストプレイやね。何も言わなくなったよ。
said Stanley. I know what to do. I know how to fully express this feeling in my heart. He decided right then and there that he would hold a press conference where he would speak to the public on all matters relating to pressing the number 3 over and over. He would elaborate fully on what the number 3 meant to him and why he felt so alive when pressing it. Then the bucket would be able to see his joy through the eyes of others.
またバケツ言うて。絶対出てくるバケツ持つと。話せなくなっちゃったバケツ。おお、違うとこ来た。
For months, he advertised and marketed his press conference, building excitement around it, developing and rehearsing it, until it couldn't be refined a single measure further. When the big day arrived, Stanley was as prepared as he'd ever been for anything in his life.
こうね。ステージ3に侵されてる。
This was it. One last chance to win the bucket over. One opportunity to share a true connection with a loved one.
3に侵されてる。確かにね、3っていう数字好きだよ。
There was no one here. Nobody had come to the press conference to
Stanley
hear Stanley speak, to listen to him talk about what it really means to press the number 3 on a keypad over and over. He was unloved, uninteresting, he was a failure, and in that moment Stanley knew that the bucket would never again take him seriously. There would be no connection, no deeper understanding. The bucket merely sat there in his arms, indifferent. And so it began that slowly, over many years, the two of them grew more and more distant. They spoke less and less, neither wishing to state the obvious. Any sense of real respect between them had eroded since that day at the press conference. There would be no more games, no more long conversations about passion and pursuit. Only a silence that consumed the space between friends. And Stanley, having for once in his life discovered the warmth and comfort of true companionship, was cast back into the unremarkable normalcy of loneliness.
終わったね。おお、またここからだ。押せねえんだ。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
伝言を聞き忘れたんでしょう。もうバケツは持ちません。バグってる。全部消して回ろう。電気代がね、もったいないから。6月から高くなったからさ。電気代って大事だよね。という私はもうクーラーをガンガンにかけてますけど。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
ここで、右ルートはもう全部やったんかな。てかもうあと何ルート残ってんだ。切り上げ時がわからねえ。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
4つぐらいあるもん。あ、そっか、こっち正面行ってないもんね。
walked straight ahead to the opposite door and got back on track.
おお、会議室に来た。え？We can find them. もう増えてないなんか。俺について語ってるぞ。はい。どっか落ちてんの？下ができてる。
Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, There really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
Stanlerine なんだ。
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that it had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself? Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float amid the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Okay. なんでだよ目覚めたのに
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh no.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
もう知らん女の話来た。 誰
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an
僕は
ambulance,
死にま
for
した
just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what
僕が
isn't.
死んじゃいましたこれ
It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood
何
there,
見過ごし
staring
たの
down at the body,
死ん
and then she turned and ran.
放置されたんだけど僕じゃ死んでも放置されるのこんな男にかばってる暇ねえよって
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly
会議
lit.
が必要
Was
な
it
の
a
あれ言
sign
う
of
て
something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was. When
右の
Stanley
電話
came
に
to
出
a
る
set
か
of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
進んだもんね
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
下行って電話出るか
But Stanley didn't
落下しも
want
あ
to
る
go
の
back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he
え
needed
電
to
話
go
ここじゃないよマジ
開
くから
From here, it's
Right.
Oh no,
Oh.
it's to the right. My mistake.
早すぎるってどうしようびっくりしたよ
No, 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 not the right. Why would I have
びっ
ever
く
said
り
it
し
was
た
to
よ
the right?
な
What
早
was
す
I
ぎる
thinking? It's clearly. Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
電話ここじゃなかったかどこだったか忘れちゃった
Now
の
let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep. Okay. Yes.
電
I've
話
got
あ
it
れか
now.
あ
This
の
story
右の
is
先か
absolutely, definitely this way.
右の先だブーブーがあるでしょああここだ
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. We just have to get back to Oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now.
これは
The whole
見たルー
story
トだね
completely unusable. How about rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense,
右の
we'll just restart the game from the
先に
beginning.
進む
And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track.
もう
Hmm?
どこがどのル
Okay,
ー
from
ト
the
か
top.
わかんなくなってきちゃうジャンプがあれば
All of his co-workers were gone.
楽
What
観
could
って
it
こ
mean?
と
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley...
Oh.
Wait.
ああそうだ
No, I
Wait a minute.
restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something
でこれの
change?
こっちルート行ったか
Stanley,
今度こっ
did
ちル
you
ート
change anything when we were
めちゃ
back
め
in
ちゃ
that
ルートあ
room
り
with
ま
all
し
the
た
monitors? Did you move the
一回リ
story
スタートしないと
somewhere?
まずい
Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the
こっち行っ
story.
たら一緒
It was right here just a minute ago.
一
I
個
know
だ
for
け行って
sure
みよ
that
こ
it's here
っちか
somewhere. Okay then. It's an adventure.
どこ行っても一緒一緒なんかい
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started. And if it did, it stopped shortly after.
もう違う
Stanley
話
hoped that
始
he
まって
would
る
one day see weather.
天気の話しちゃめた今さら天気デッキ
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded, butterflies in his stomach. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
次がね。あ、ここが落下エンドか。これが落下エンドね。すぐ終わらせるか。
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley left the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
音がラストなんだよな。帰りは柵だったの。
Stanley had
柵
never
で
seen
囲
the
まれ
office
てた
this
ね。
brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
だから分かんなかったのか。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
で、
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot
こ
here.
こに降り
I'm
る
not
や
your
つがあ
enemy,
るんだ
really,
よ
I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult,
な。
but
先
the
こっち降
fact
りるや
is
つ
that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's
タイ
someone
ミング
you've
見て
been
タイミング。
neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. What? Really?
お
I was in the middle of
really?
something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why?
い
I
く
don't
ぞ
know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully. This is okay. I'm going back to the name of these little Stanley figurines, and now I'm torn between Stanlerines and
Stanlerines.
What do you think, Stanley? What name better encapsulates the intrinsic sense of happiness that you get from seeing a small number in the corner of your screen go up by 1? Let me sit on it. I'm sure it will come to me.
スタンルリーン。うわ、どっちの色が好きかって話？パークかな？
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me.
あれ？
Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running just the way you're doing right now.
ひたすらに走らされるや
It's
つ。
killing us, Stanley. I wanted to stop.
終わったよ。
We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
きちゃー。
What do we want? What are we looking for?
何が待ってんの？
Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it?
何
If we
こ
just
こ？
stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel... No, wait. Where are you going?
何ここ？
Oh, no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this.
階段行くと死ぬ？
Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this
ここ
from me.
私から奪わないで。
Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
これまた死エンド。死エンドやね、これ。
No! Oh,
なんでよね。
thank God. You lived. You had me worried there for a moment. Now, can we please get back to the other room? No. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley, let's go back to the other room.
私のために
Can
そう
you do that
してく
for
れ
my
ませんか？
God? Is this really how much you dislike my game? But you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along.
どんどん悲しい気持ちになってくる。なんか、ナレーターさん、ごめんね。
It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
これが最後だ。えい。
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
悲しい。胸が痛い。胸が、What?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Wait, what?
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
知らないルー
Perhaps
ト。
he had when Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to
謎のル
admire
ートかと
it.
思ったら変わんなかった。
And here it
今
was,
度は青ルート
the
か。
lounge. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad
早いよ。
at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't 5 years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've
さっき
gotten
の
off on the
高さよ
wrong
りも
foot
さ、
here.
低いのにさ。う
I'm
わ
not sure
待って
Stanley.
あそこに行き
I
たい。
realize that investing in your trust in someone else can
どうや
be
って行くんだろう、
difficult,
あそこ。
but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've...
危ない。
Really?
危ない。
I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for
危
others? Are you
ない。
that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating. Stanley walked. All right, fine, go ahead,
いいじゃん、どう
Stanley.
ぞ、スタ
You
ン
want
リ
to
ー。
know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see?
おー、何ここ。
I haven't even finished building this section of the map
もう作
because
り
you were never supposed to be here
こ
in
れ
the
終わって
first
ないん
place.
かい。
Broken rooms, exposed developer textures.
座
Is
標
this
がある
what
か、こ
you
れ。
wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you
こ
wanted
の
to
部
see.
屋見られたくなか
Help
った
me
だろ
here,
うな。
Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the
そ
dark
したら
at a
落
new
下し
design
モー
and
ド
give me
で、
some
モー
feedback.
ド落下し
There
の
we go.
おお、びっくり
A
した
third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before.
No,
Go
go-
ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
新しい
Okay,
ルート。
I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest.
教えないよ。
I'm looking for some real critical
あ
feedback.
評
here.
価評価ボタンうちいつも評価ボタン4番押してるよ。
Okay, so we're getting
まあ
somewhere.
いけるでしょ。
Clearly, there's something here that speaks to you.
ちょうどいいとこ
To
ろ。
be honest here, I really
最高
don't
に
have any
面白い。
idea where I'm going with this. This
マジで
whole
面白
third
くない。
door thing was just a stab in the
普
dark.
通。
But I guess
まあ
you're
いいで
into
しょう
it,
の
so
ところ。
let's keep this party train rolling.
よくあるよ
Here,
ね。
based on the
1
data
から
from
5
your
で評価
previous
してくださ
playthrough,
い。
I've compiled a
大
new
体4
version.
押してる。
And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one.
4が
Let's
一
take a
番
look.
嫌な気持ちにさせないよ。お、びっくりした。何これ。こっちはまた評価の部屋だから。おー、何何秒クリアとかうちの順位見せてくれるのこれ。ユーマ ?9328 今
Now, would you say
おーおーおー、なんで帰ってきて。
helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on. And
Ah,
now would be a
just
lovely
go also
opportunity
like-
to give it some play testing. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
5しか押せん、こ
Let me
れ。
boot it up. Hey, In this game,
Baby chan
the
いた、
baby
baby chan.
crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
おお、うぜえ。うぜえな、これ。鬼だろ。エイケちゃん助けなきゃ。鬼だろ。
You heartless bastard.
血も
Did
涙
you
も
do
ないや
it
ろう。
because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know
燃
what
え
to
ち
do.
ゃ
I'm
ったん
completely
だ。
out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even
エイ
going
ケ
to
ちゃ
try.
ん。
I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. It's over.
お
Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable.
非常に有益
Oh,
でした。
hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
これマジ、
Yes.
普通に
This seems like
独り
it'll
言
work.
録音してる
Let's
だ
give
け
it a
だ。
shot.
4時間やるとエンディングあるわ。あ、やばすぎる。何ここ。
Aha!
違うゲーム来た。ラ
What
フ
do
ト
you
み
think
たい
this
な
game
の
is
が。
about, Stanley? What's our backstory? What is our motivation?
そうでもないか。
Well, it
Well,
seems
just the unit.
obvious to me that you are meant to play as a creepy man spying on innocent civilians below you from up
Tower.
high in your creep tower, perhaps for some
Tower
sort
から
of
観
twisted
察するゲー
erotic
ム。
purpose. Yes, that must be it. What a fascinating venture into the experience of total mental depravity. So far, I love everything about this game, Stanley. And it seems there's even
ノー
more.
ムないよ。これ出ら
Come,
れないじゃ
let's
ん。
venture outward and see what else is out
この
there.
部屋で一生過ごさなきゃ。あ、階段そっちかい。マジでゲーム性変わったぞ。
Oh no. No, 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 it can't be.
No, 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 no.
It is. It's an open world game. Good God, quickly block it off.
オープン、あー
Thank goodness, Stanley. What a
オー
close
プン
call.
壁と当てないでよ。
That thing, that big open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any. Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big,
隙間が
insurmountable walls.
どっか通れそうな隙間なん
I
かない
think
か。
this will be just the thing.
おお、なにこれまだ。
Wonderful. See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for
こ
you.
れあれじゃん。
There
車
isn't
の
any
サッカーのや
possibility
つじゃ
that you
ん。
could get lost here. Now this
こ
is
れ違
game
うこれ
design.
車のサッカーのや
Stanley,
つじゃ
if
な
you
いか。
manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally
でも
impressed.
そうだよな、多分。
Okay, so what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game
車サッカー
sports
のやつじゃん。
ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun.
乗ら
We
せろ、
shall run
車
the
に。
bases and do a touchdown together? Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
シャー ほいーん。ほいーん。
Are you doing it? Are you winning? Hold on. What are you doing?
あお、ボールも入れられんて。ボールも入れられんかったって。
I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
ボールさえ入れられなかった。自分がホールイン。あ。壁あるかと思った。なにここ。不思議な空間来た。心が今ざわついてるよ。何をしたらいいんだい？電気ある。してる人間ってね、電気の方向に行きたくなるんだよ。明るい方向に行きたくなるんだって。虫みたいでしょ。
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it.
謎なんだけど。
Wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am.
あの先成功してたのあんのかな？落ちたところ。
Oh, yes.
あの部屋から出れないのか。
There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
終わりはすぐそこです言うてる。何の終わり？ゲーム？人生？
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
新しいルート始まった？
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly
もう
well.
終わりが見えなく
Perhaps he
なってい
wanted
る。
to stop by the employee lounge first,
ちょっ
just
と
to
フィギュアだ
admire
け
it.
撮りたいな。
It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. You're getting close now, Stanley. You've nearly gotten all the Figler and Marines. Very soon, you'll collect the last one, and then the first number will equal the second number, and that will be it. We'll be different people by then. Different in the sense that we used to have none of them, and now we have them all. You can't go back to when you had no Figler and Marines. None of us can.
うひょー。でもこれ死ななきゃいけないんだよな。
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley left from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
はい。死ななくてもいけたマジ。
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply
死なないルートあったんだ。戻ったところか。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open
doors,
this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. It was okay. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been
道あるや
neglecting,
ん。
Stanley.
洞
Someone you've
窟みたいなのあ
forgotten
る。
about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself, to put your work aside, to let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley.
電話出たらどうなんだろう。え
Oh, Stanley, is that you?
あ、スタンリー
Hold
なん
on,
だ
sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven.
奥さんだ。
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha. Oh, come on.
え
Did you actually think you had a loving
え
wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here,
僕
Stanley.
には
I'm trying to get you
奥
to
さんがい
see
なかった。
something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going
なんで
on
こうだ
here.
まさか妻さえもいないという。
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley. Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do.
無意識に押しちゃうボ
Now
タ
he's
ン。
pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
ああ。
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic
マイン
adventures.
ドされてる。
From
マイン
behind
ド
his
コントロー
desk,
ルされてる。ま
Stanley
だ。
dreamed of wild expeditions
Key を押
into
し
the
ちゃう、どうしても。
unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
テレビを見るために言う。
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that
テレビ
one
なんて
day
ない
while
ぞ。
at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face
地
of
球
the
にい
earth.
ないってこと
The
え
thought excited him terribly.
おー興奮してる今うち。
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what
ゆ
lay
夢
behind
の
each
中どういう
door.
こと
The
だ
mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy
あ
world,
オフィスにな
he
ってる。
began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many
あったあっ
directions.
た。
And down another was a
お
game
うか
with
ちゃ
a
んも
baby.
あった。
And he called it the Stanley Parable.
The Stanley Parable。
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it
頭の
again
中
and
で
again
体験して
and
ただけ
again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path.
確か
Mustn't
に
there be?
新しい
Perhaps
道あ
if
る
he
と思っ
played
た。
just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In
答えなん
reality,
てな
all
い。
he's doing
ああ、
is
部屋
pushing
に
the
戻っ
same
てきてる。
buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me.
全部観
He
察
won't
され
stop.
てるんだ。
Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do
Okay.
not do it.
オッケー。一生出るのかなこれ。押してくださいって。やだ、出勤したくない。あー、出勤したくないよ。どうしよう、出勤したくない。 でも押さないと進まないんだろうな。出勤したくないよ。だって明日月曜日だもん。嫌だよ。代わりに出勤してくれ誰か。頼む。お願いだ。嫌だよね。押すしかないのかこれ。
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself? I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again. Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
そんな怖いこと言われる。死んでくださいなんて初めて言われた。なんで怖いゲームだこれ。
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
なんだよこれ。もう右は全部見た。左、あと何がある？行けるところ。でも6個欲しい。6個は欲しいんだよな。6個欲しいんだよ。こっちにもう1個。これがね、あるんだけど。どこにあるんだ？あ、ほら。6個。あ、書いてある書いてある。なんか、プライベート、プレス。インポータント、パーション。何を喋っている？プライベート空間。1、2、3、5。お、トイレだ。え？トイレや。2、3、4。トイレだよ。トイレだよ。トイレだよ。プライベート空間、トイレにあるんだよ。
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. And there it is, the last Stiggly Wiggly. Savor this moment, Stanley. This is a real accomplishment. This is doing something just for the sake of doing it. Where so many people expect to be rewarded for the most trivial achievements, you've insisted that a job well done is its own reward. I would tell you that I'm proud of you for collecting them all, but that would be like a reward, and we can't have that. So, instead I'll just say, it's done. We're all done here. And now we can go to whatever the hell you were doing before you hunted for figurines.
Money. 人は行ったもんね。人は行きました。こう無限だから。 どこだろう。これがヒント。あ、これなんかさ、何回か押してるよな。どこ乗ったよ。閉まる前に戻りに行くんだ。ここを戻んなきゃいけなかったんだ。え、開いたんだけど。なんだよ、おい、突きつけられてるよ、中古。大丈夫かよ。あ、来た。なんか見覚えある、これ。見覚えあるぞ、このエレベーター、うち。どっち行ってんだろう。見覚えあります。下か。下に行けないのかな。スタンリーって言ってる。え？本当に動いたよ、これ。スタンリーって言ってる。動いてないよね。こんだけの話？スタンリー音楽、これだけの話？BGM そうじゃん、終われんだ。マジかよ。開いてるし。
Here's the door, just go.
もう進むしかねえんだな。あれでもここ、あるか。進むしかねえのか。したらリセットするか。え？
Stanley, I'm sorry, but I have to put a pause on things. It's those figurines, those figglers. I haven't stopped thinking about them since you nabbed every last one. Wasn't it just the most intrinsically fulfilling moment of your entire life? Didn't it fill you to the brim with inner richness? Yes, I know we're supposed to be telling a story, but won't you please indulge me with one more trip back to the memory zone? I would love nothing more than to revisit the figurines. Just one more time.
ミズリーン取ったからメモリーゾーン来ちゃった。
Here's where it all began.
ここから全て始まりました。
Back then we had no idea of how many of them we'd find. Sure, it said 6 right there on the screen, but how could we know for certain?
何あれ？
We were so innocent. We'll never be like that again, Stanley.
もらおうか。7個になっちゃった。おー ってきたよ。
And here was the second Stanlerine. You found this one all on your own just by poking around behind the boss's office. You did that, Stanley. I'll be honest. Back then I had no faith in you to find any of them, let alone 6. But you continue to surprise me in all sorts of mundane, unremarkable ways. Okay, let's do a little quiz. Which of these rooms was the room you found your third mini stand? Can you remember?
3つ目はどっちだったっけ俺どっちだったっけな。あれ3つ目どっちだっけな。こっちか。どうしちゃったっけみんな。覚えてる覚えてるかこれ。3つ目。左どっちだ。星は左な気がする。
Hey, that's exactly right. It was here, under the stairs. It was the third one. You picked it up, and then after that, you had 3 of them. I'm glad these moments are so crystal clear in your memory, but I shouldn't be surprised. After all, science tells us that it's impossible to forget your third time doing anything. Let's see, what came next? Oh yes, we found a figly in this pink room. Oh, well, I can't actually say I remember being in this room, but it's here in the memory zone, so it must have happened.
いい音だな。
This was the 5th mini stand, and this one was really something special. It was in the warehouse. I remember it so clearly. In fact, because this one is particularly special to me, I made a little video to commemorate the occasion.
ここ気づかなかった。落ちた時に見てなかった。どうした画質あれ画質あれよなんで戻れなかったのって後ろにあったでってなんなんこれエンディングかこれ終わった終わった
Takes you back.
終わってなかった
I spent a lot of time making that video, but it was 8 minutes I wouldn't have spent on anything else. And then, Stanley, then we came to the last collectible, the final figurine, right here in the boss's bathroom. This memory is the most distinct and clear in my mind, perhaps because it was the one that happened more recently than all the others. Who can truly say how the mind works? All I know is that this is the moment where you picked up a figly and I thought to myself, yes, that's all of them. They're all collected. It was a moment unlike any other. Except for the other moments picking up figurines, which it was exactly.
画質荒すぎたな。あんなんだったんだ。
And then there was no more, because we've caught up to the present moment. Nothing left to do but move onward into the future. Goodbye, memory zone.
何
No, I'm
まだ終わってない。
I'm not ready to move on. Stop the loading screen. Isn't there some way we can stay here, keep enjoying these figurines? Let's just go backwards. We'll do the memory zone again from the opposite direction. See how that feels.
もう一回メモリゾーン行く？オッケー？一回帰るか、そしたら。
Okay, yes, the boss's boss.
何個集めさせんねん。
I remember this. I must say, of all the figurines we looked at in our initial tour of the memory zone, this one is the most distinct and clear in my mind. Let's keep going. I want more. And here's where I made that video. Don't you remember the video we watched?
いい早流し
Yes, I love that video.
好きすぎだろ流すなそんなに
Still don't remember the pink room, Stanley. Still no memory of this one. Good room, though. A solid room.
がっちりした部屋よ
These really were a treat to hunt down. You know, if there had been any kind of reward for finding all of these, it really would have muted the intrinsic joy of collecting them. I'm very glad we resisted the temptation. Next one.
早いよこっからあっちに行ってたなどうなってたんだ
Don't you remember? Yes, I remember it too. The past is truly a wonderful thing. Why does anyone ever choose to leave it? Keep going. This is it, the very first one we found in the exhibit where I introduced you to the figurines. Oh, I want more memories, Stanley. I want to keep going. What else is there? What came before this?
あれ何もないじゃんジャンピン
Look, it's the terrible new content that we were originally sold on. I remember hating it back then, but time does put a rosy filter on everything. In fact, oh yes, the two doors!
Oh,
who could have forgotten that? A classic memory, this one.
どっちも一緒やな帰ってきた
And before everything else, there was your office. Is there anything else? Was there something that came before your office? There's something I feel I can remember. I can remember. Yes, I'm remembering something now. I remember before this whole story got started.
なんだこのゲーム
I was different. I used to make big decisions. I was skeptical. I weighed each decision with profound thoughtfulness. And then somewhere along the way, I stopped making decisions. I became lazy. And I came up with a character named Stanley to do my thinking for me. He would make the decisions. He would decide which way to go. I would cheer him on as he collected figurines for no reason. Why did I invent Stanley?
スタンリーを作り出した
Yes,
ナレーターの
perhaps
人
that's
だ
it. Perhaps I needed to imagine I had companionship. And Stanley really did make for a wonderful companion, even if he was a fiction. But
スタンリー自体がフィクションだった
I
ナレー
want
シ
to
ョ
think for
ン
myself
の
again.
ナレーターの人
I
が
want to go back to how it used
考
to
え
be.
た
Yes, I can be on my
お
own
友達
again. I can do it. I'll be stronger this time. I'll take care of myself. I don't need Stanley anymore. Oh, but he truly was so much fun to play with. You know what? Since we're in the memory zone, how about one more good memory? Let's go back just once and give Stanley one more run at the office, and then I'll retire him for
そして
good.
彼とコロッケー
I
する
did
んだ
enjoy telling his story so very much. Okay, here we go. This is the story of a man named Stanley.
スタンリーの物語がまた始まったこれが最後のスタンリ
A
ー
soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
これが最後のスタンリーはどうしたらいいの終わりに
When
したいんだから
Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he
終わら
entered
せ
the
てあ
door
げる
on his left.
ちゃんと
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
ここがクショイホテル。閉まる前に戻る。戻れなくない？ここの扉が閉まる前に戻る。ここね。ここね。ここね。おっくそくそ何を押したらこんなんできる？ほんとここあれだろ
う？ Here's the door, just go.
終わりにしてあげるべき？どうやって戻んだろう？あと1ルートってことはだよね。
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control
もう一
Facility.
回ちゃんと行ってリスタートした方がいいのか。でも進んじゃったからな。
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
電気はこっちだ。
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen. And Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe it couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
オンにしたら押せんちゃうのこれ。一回オンにしてみるか。オンにして。
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls. After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going. What all this means. Where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? Right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though. This version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you. It's rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? This video game can be beaten? One solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? But you really believe there's an answer? How many times will you replay this bit, looking desperately for a solution? 10? 100,000? I look forward to finding out and to watching the bomb go off each time you fail. Just you and me and the retching explosion of fire and metal over and over and over for all of eternity. And Stanley died again. And Stanley died again. And Stanley died again. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever after.
C あるのみC あるのみやな。マジわかんねえな。ないんだ答え。いやー、最後の左なんだルートマジでわかんないな。てかもう6時半か。本当に何時間半やってんぞこれ。お。Welcome Stanley to Heaven。ヘブン来た。ヘブン来た。 サマーウォーズみたい。なにこれ、ボタン押すだけの世界なにこれ、ボタン押すだけの世界だ。ガチ終わりやん。おかしくなるって頭。この部屋に一生いたら終わりだって。音流れる。これもうないよね、こっから先。こっから先もうないよな。一応エンディングなのね、これ。これが。耳。おー、赤くなんだ。耳、視覚、聴覚、視覚。やられてる、今これ。きっとこれで終わりなんだろう。どこに行ったらいい？うちは。じゃあどこに行ったらいいんだこれ。一旦セッティングしとくか。今日。これで終わっていいこれで終わっていいのか？本当に。赤画面で終わるのちょっと、あれだな。開いとこう。これで終わっていい？マジ？僕はこれで終わり。天国行ったし、ええか。一旦、ちょっと待って。赤画面はまずいから。違う違う。一回家に戻るね。ここでいいや。ここで終わっとこう。まあ、天国行ったし終わるか今日は。お腹も空いたしね。6時半さすがに。いやなんか、謎のゲームだったな。謎のゲームだったな。なんか、結局ナレーターの、ナレーターなんだっけ。ナレーターの人が作り出したスタンリーという人物は、何どうしよう、バカがバレる。何もわからない。なんだろうな、人のね、やりたいことをね、理解して作られてるわ。マジで。フィギュア集めたいし、ああやってパソコンの画面押したいし、気になる数字散らばってるから数字押したくなるし、行ったことない道行きたくなるし。これはこれで面白いぞ。あれと、作ったとこ一緒なんだっけ？なんだっけ？もう一個あったよな。違う、過去にやったやつ。ちょっとそれ見もね、感じたね。配置物が。なんだったっけな。忘れたけど。大小作って、目の錯覚使ってやるやつ。なんだったかな、それ。うちが怖がってたやつ。それ見もね、感じた。こういうのはね、バカがバレてしまうから難しいね。理解するのに。英語で喋られてるから字幕見ないといけないし。字幕、読むの遅いからね。字幕読めないんだよな。 終わってる。終わってた。でもね、面白かったよ。ありがとうね。これ買ってもらったんだっけ？もらったんだっけ？うちが買ったんだっけ？そこも曖昧なんだけど、おすすめしてくれたかありがとうございます。なんか常に何が待ってるかね、ワクワクしてました。ありがとうございます。よいしょ。ということでね、今日はお腹空いてきたので、この辺で終わりたいと思います。夜は配信ないので、まあゆっくり過ごしてください。明日は一応ラストでイベントがあるみたいなので、それをね、配信しようかなと思います。まあ参加できればだけど、時間的に間に合えばやりたいなと思いますので、ぜひ見に来てください。うちが作った自動かまどもね、ぜひ見てほしいからね、配信をします。よろしくお願いします。ということで今日、ちょっと長々と3時間半、スタンリーの行動に付き合ってくださってありがとうございました。告知等ないのでね、このまま終わりたいと思います。じゃあ、おつうめでした。バイバイ。またねー。おやすみじゃなかった。夜じゃなかった。夕方だったのだ。おつうめでした。わーい。またねー。